Welcome to Mexico and the fourth round of the World Rally Championship. It's hot, it's dusty, and there's always plenty of colour as the crews tackle the first gravel event of the season. It proved to be a slippy start for the drivers, and Henning Solberg was the first to find trouble on stage one. That roll cost him over 3.5 minutes and any chance of a decent result. He starts today in 19th. For his brother Petter, it was a perfect start. He came here with a new version of the Impreza and took the lead from the off. But in the afternoon, disaster struck as a freak incident on stage 5 holed his engine oil cooler, bringing his rally to an abrupt halt.
We have an oil cooler in the engine room, and it's a fan on it, and one blade have broken and hit a little hole in the oil cooler, and that's enough to destroy everything.
That left Sebastian Loeb with the lead in his first gravel rally in the new C4. He started today cautiously, but then soon found his rhythm in the new car and starts today with a 26-second lead. Chris Atkinson, also in a new Impreza, settled into third place from the first stage and inherited second after his teammate's demise. A small error in the Super Special didn't cause him any problems as he then won stage 8. Mikko Hirvonen started slowly, being second on the road, but in the afternoon the young Finn hit back, passing his teammate Gronholm and climbing up to third overall. He starts today just 3.8 seconds behind Atkinson. For the championship leader, it was a disappointing start to the rally. He struggled being first on the road in the morning loop and a poor tyre choice for the second run through the stages, which meant he lost 5th position to Manfred Stoll. Fortunately for Gronholm, Stoll slid wide on the Super Special, clattering the barrier and handing 5th back to Marcus. One thing's for certain, the big Finn will not be holding back today. Gronholm starts the day just 8.6 seconds ahead of Stoll, but more significantly, he's 43 seconds behind the leader Loeb. Atkinson and Hirvonen will battle hard for second today as just 3.8 seconds separates them. Danny Sordo in the second Citroen is fourth, but he's only 11 seconds ahead of Gronholm, who'll be on a charge today. Day 2 is the longest of the rally as the crews have over 158 kilometres to negotiate. Stage 9 is the longest at over 30 kilometres, and it's repeated as 12, 10, 11, 13 and 14 are all over 20 kilometres long, so there's a real chance for the drivers to make up some time on their rivals. On to the longest stage of the weekend then, and we join Marcus Gronholm on the start line, who begins the day in 5th. After a sluggish start to the rally by the Finns' high standards, Marcus's first objective is to see off the threat of Manfred Stoll, who begins the morning just 8.6 seconds behind. Until his late error on the end of day Super Special yesterday, the Austrian had been in inspired form, setting his first fastest time of the season in the process. But can he catch the championship leader? There is also a three-way battle for second place to keep an eye on. Danny Sordo has put his torrid 2 outings on the snow rallies firmly behind him in Mexico and is performing superbly on the dusty gravel roads of North America. Mikko Hirvonen begins the morning just 2 seconds ahead of the Spaniard. The Norway winner, though, also has his sights set firmly on the man ahead, Chris Atkinson, who's in the runner-up spot, but only 3.8 seconds ahead of Hirvonen. Gronholm has already completed the stage, so his time of 18 minutes 30.4 seconds is the benchmark for the chasing pack. Sordo is the first to test himself against the Finns' efforts, and this is not looking good for Danny. He had an 11-second cushion ahead of the Ford driver before the stage, and that's going to be trimmed here. He's 6.4 seconds slower, his advantage down to 4.6. here's the last of the drivers involved in the battle for second. Chris Atkinson has had a terrific start to the rally, and after Peter Solberg's misfortune, it's now up to the Australian to prove the pace of the new Impreza. Plenty of hanging dust around for these drivers on this first stage, which is causing real problems for visibility. It doesn't seem to bother Hirvonen though. He's fastest through so far. Back at the start line is rally leader Sebastian Loeb. The world champion begins the second leg with a lead of nearly half a minute. Seb's objective this morning will be to see off any lingering challenge from the four drivers behind. Back to the battle for the runner-up spot behind Citroen's #1 meanwhile, and after that terrific time from Hirvonen, Chris Atkinson has a real fight in his hands to hold on to second. He needs to beat that target time to hold on to his place, and he may be in trouble here. There go the yellow boards. The finish line is coming up.
Go 140.
And he's past the target time, he's lost it. He couldn't quite match Mikko's performance and is now behind by 1.2 seconds.
Oh, that will put me a little bit too. It's a loose, I guess, typical with these tires. Yeah. What to do?
Chris, you started at day second, 3.8 advantage, but we'll believe it's a 5-second loss to Mikko.
Yeah, it's strange. We were -2 early on, and obviously I was too careful at the end.
So the struggle for second place takes another twist, but back in the stage, Loeb is giving his all to stamp his authority on the event that he won so comfortably last season. He does just that too. His time is 7.5 seconds quicker than Hirvonen's efforts. He's already beginning to build an unassailable lead.
Is there any need to push that hard and take that much time?
Yes, to keep the concentration, and you never know. I have a good feeling with the car. It's going well. I don't take so much risks to do that, and so it's better to have a good lead. You never know. You can stop the engine, stall the engine. You can have a spin, so it's better to have a bit more gap.
Loeb's advantage is now 37.6 seconds, and it's now Hirvonen who's his closest rival, with Atkinson just 1.2 seconds further back. Marcus Gronholm is steadily closing on the Citroen of Danny Sordo. The fans loving the show this morning and moving straight into the next two stages before the service break. Marcus Gronholm is already into stage 10. The Finn suffered with a suspect tyre choice as well as an engine sensor problem yesterday afternoon, which prevented him from closing on the front runners. But this morning, it's a very different story. One place ahead on the leaderboard, Danny Sordo can't quite match the fired-up Finn. Citroen's #2 is slower again on stage 10, not by much, but the gap between them is now just 0.7 of a second. Chris Atkinson too is pushing hard. Frustrated at losing his position to Hirvonen on the previous test, he fights back immediately, beating the Finn by over a second on stage 10. The gap between them is now only 1/10 of a second, although he's damaged his front bumper somewhere. The tension continues to build then between these four drivers. Moving on to stage 11, and Marcus Gronholm has amazingly found yet another gear. Marcus and the Ford Focus excel on such flowing gravel roads, and here on this 23-kilometre test, he's giving it everything. With Marcus and Timo Rautiainen up to full speed, it's a good opportunity to sit back and enjoy the ride. Danny Sordo can't match Gronholm's searing pace. He finally concedes defeat in his efforts of keeping the Finn behind. But it's not a bad time from Danny, and he closes slightly on Atkinson. Gronholm's terrific time has already seen him move ahead of both Sordo and Atkinson, but his teammate Mikko Hirvonen is still in the stage. But amazingly, his position too could be under threat. Mikko began the stage 11.7 seconds ahead of his compatriot. That's the target time he needs to beat to hold on to the runner-up spot. And this is just too close to call. Will he do it? No, not quite. Amazingly, Gronholm has jumped 4 positions in one stage. He's now 1/10 of a second ahead of his teammate. Rally leader Sebastian Loeb, though, has had little threat to his supremacy since the retirement of Petter Solberg yesterday afternoon. He was fastest again on stage 10, and although even the Frenchman couldn't match that fantastic time by Gronholm in 11, he's done more than enough to stretch his advantage. Nearly a minute separates Loeb from the 4 drivers fighting for the runner-up spot. Gronholm's jumped from 5th to 2nd, but incredibly there's still just 9.4 seconds between Marcus and Danny Sordo. Stoll Latvala and Matthew Wilson continue to hold the final point-scoring places, and the crews make their way back to service in Lyon.
Marcus, you've been on a push all morning, but what was so special about stage 11?
No, the car feels good now and everything works properly. I changed a little bit on my car, some things, and it feels like it's very good now.
What were the changes you made?
I don't tell you.
Mikko, were you surprised with Marcus's speed on that last stage?
On the last one, yes. Okay, that was very good time, and okay, I didn't do it last year, but still for me it felt that it came very well. And I didn't get any split, so I was really surprised. But okay, finally he woke up.
Sebastian, how hard were you pushing this morning to build up that lead?
I was pushing hard, but without taking extreme risk. I was feeling well in the car. I like the stages. Everything was okay, so I tried to push, to be concentrated, and to be in a good rhythm. And I think it was a good thing to do that, because Marcus now is pushing hard, and now he's again, I think, in the 2nd position. So we'll have to contain him.
Loeb may have a comfortable lead, but there's a big battle on between the 2 Ford drivers. There's just 1/10 of a second between them. Welcome back to day 2 of Rally Mexico. We have a real fight on our hands for the runner-up spot. As in Norway, there's very little to separate the 2 Ford drivers, just 1/10 of a second between Marcus Gronholm and Mikko Hirvonen. We're back into the 2nd run through the longest stage of the rally. Gronholm is already well into the 30 kilometers of Ibarilla, and there may be little Marcus can do about catching the runaway leader after the time he lost yesterday, but he'll need to be at his best to keep his teammate behind. Yesterday afternoon, OMV's Citroen's Manfred Stoll was proving a real threat to Gronholm's challenge. That seems like a long time ago now. The Austrian has been unable to match the Finn's incredible speed today. He's running sit, but on his first outing on gravel in the 06 Ara, this has been a learning experience for Manfred. Danny Sordo has proved again that he's not just a tarmac specialist. He begins stage 6, just 6.3 seconds behind Chris Atkinson's 4th place, and the young Spaniard is defying his lack of experience again by proving more than a match for his more experienced rivals. Like last season, 2007 is proving to be a real breakthrough for this group of young stars. Mikko Hirvonen already has 2 rally wins to his name, and after losing his runner-up spot to his teammate on the previous test, he's pushing hard again here. Finn, as always, looking calm and controlled behind the wheel despite the scary speeds he's reaching through these trickle gravel tracks. He's going to be slightly slower again, though, but still very little between Finland's finest.
The battle between you and Marcus is really close. 0.1 coming in, but you've lost 1.8 to him.
Yeah, he's coming really fast and I can't go any faster, so, you know, it's very close, but we'll see.
It's not been a great morning so far for Chris Atkinson. The pace being set by this group of drivers leaves very little margin for error, and it's worth remembering that the Australian is still adapting to the new Impreza while he's competing. A faulty turbo is costing him some power, and as Chris approaches the finish line of stage 12, his position may be under threat from Sordo. Just 6.3 seconds between them before the stage, remember. And he's lost fourth. It's Chris's turn to become the pursuer. He's now 1.3 seconds behind Danny.
Okay, come back to us when you can, Glenn.
We lost some engine power halfway through the stage and dropped off a fair bit of time. No idea why. Everything seems all right, but I had no power.
And if you think these guys have been pushing hard, take a look at the rally leader. Another stage win increases his margin of safety to just over 52 seconds. The world champion almost out of sight then. A gap has started to build between the two Fords fighting for second, and a battle for fourth between Sordo and Atkinson. But there's still plenty to be decided before the finish of leg 2. 2 more mountain stages to come before returning to Lyon for 2 passes through the City Super Special. And here's Mikko Hirvonen. The Finn didn't compete on the Saturday stages last year after rolling on the second morning, so the Ford man has done very well when you consider his lack of experience on these roads. He's just 1.9 seconds behind his teammate. Can he catch Gronholm? Oh, not like that he can't. He's completely sideways and flipped across the road by an unseen rock. Well, with so many drivers right on the limit, it was only a matter of time before one of them made a mistake. Mikko eventually gets the focus back in the right direction, but he's damaged 3 tyres, and this is all going to cost a lot of time. He can forget catching Gronholm and even falls behind Danny Sordo to 4th. So on to stage 14, and after Mikko's mistake, Gronholm was suddenly a lot more secure in second. He'll be disappointed it took him so long to get up to speed this weekend. Loeb is now too far ahead to catch unless the Frenchman has a problem or makes a mistake. While after passing Hirvonen for the final podium place on the previous test, Danny Sordo is now doing his best to maintain that position. Mikko Hirvonen, though, has only 0.8 of a second to make up if he's to regain third. His damaged tyres shouldn't affect his performance too much. Can he fight back immediately? We've seen some terrific battles all day today, but Chris Atkinson has begun to drift behind this hard-charging group. He's still driving with a boost problem, which has left him underpowered, and again, he's unable to attack on stage 14.
8 left plus open, slow dip.
So with the Subaru man out of contention for now, Hirvonen can put all his efforts into chasing down Sordo. This isn't the first time these 2 youngsters have ended up fighting with each other, and I'm sure it won't be the last. That's the Finn's target time. If he beats that, then third will be his once again. The finish boards are fast approaching. It's going to be very close. He's done it. They swap places, and it's now advantaged Mikko by just 0.3 of a second.
Mikko 1.1 quicker than Danny, which means you're now into third, but only by 0.3 of a second.
Well, without my spun, we would have a good gap, but 1 day to go. It's going to be a bloody difficult fight.
The drivers behind are loving every minute of their fight for third, but Sebastian Loeb has very little to keep him on his toes. Well, the fans are certainly enjoying his efforts. That was stage win number 6 for Seb. His lead now stretched to over a minute. Hirvonen is back in third, but over half a minute behind his teammate Gronholm. Sordo's 4th, just 0.3 adrift, with Atkinson a further 10 seconds behind in 5th. We still have the two super specials to come. Hirvonen is 0.3 of a second ahead of Sordo. Find out if he can hang on after the break. We have just two more runs through the Leon Super Special to come this afternoon, but first, let's catch up with the drivers at the other end of the top 8. It's been a good performance so far for young Brit Matthew Wilson. The Stobart Ford driver is running in 8th, his best position of the year so far, although a collision with a gate caused a scare on stage 10. However, his position remains safe for now.
Right, 1+.
Teammate Jari-Matti Latvala is one position ahead. The Finn finished 5th in the snow of Norway, and despite being unable to match the blistering pace of the frontrunners, 7th place would be a satisfactory outcome, considering this is his first time here in a WRC car. The third Stobart driver, Henning Solberg, has been slowly clawing his way back up the leaderboard after his dramatic roll on the first stage. He's currently running 9th. Two runs through the Leon Super Special to come then. It's a chance for the enthusiastic Mexican fans to get a close-up view of their heroes. We saw a couple of drivers caught out on this stage yesterday. It's only 2 kilometers long, but there are a couple of tricky corners to watch out for. And with just 0.3 of a second between Mikko Hirvonen and Dani Sordo, there's no margin for error for these two rivals in their battle for third. They're also driving on tyres that have seen 77 kilometres of action already. So on worn rubber, they could be struggling for grip. And this loop of stages is as long as we've seen in modern times without a change of tyres. Hirvonen very wide there. Remember, these two have been swapping places all afternoon, but we could yet see one more change in position before the end of the leg. And approaching the finish line now, Sordo is just ahead. He could claim back third here. Yes, he does it. He's 1.7 seconds quicker than Hirvonen on this short stage, and now 1.4 seconds ahead. He also beats Mikko in the second run through the stage, increasing his lead to 2.8 seconds. So it's been an enthralling battle for the final podium spot. That's still to be decided on the second leg. But for the men in the top 2 places, the rally is now all about securing their current positions. Marcus Grönholm will be content with second place after losing so much time on leg 1. While rally leader Sebastian Loeb is now looking untouchable. With a lead of over a minute by the end of the day and just 4 stages to come on the final leg tomorrow, it would take a disaster now to prevent him from claiming his second win of the year. The C4 has certainly proved its pace on gravel. Unless Loeb has a problem, Grönholm will have to settle for second tomorrow, but the battle for third is very much alive.
And he's kind of hungry to prove that he's back on the pace, isn't he, like you are?
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to have a good fight, but let's wait and see. I'm ready for a fight, no problem.
And you're going to fight rather than take the points?
Oh, definitely. I'm not going to let him take the third place.
Do you feel you finally got the car as you want it now at the end of day 2?
Yeah, we should start the rally now. It was the first day was difficult, but okay. Sometimes it's like this, and it's okay.
Tomorrow, I think it will be 4 stages. Now we have a good lead, so perhaps I can slow down a bit. Today I was in a good rhythm, but I was feeling well in the car, so tomorrow I will see. I will drive like I feel, try not to take too much risks.
It's been another exciting day here in Mexico. Join us again tomorrow for the final 4 stages. But in the meantime, keep up to date on all the latest news and results on WRC.com.